slash possible de-annexation of properties on Lino Road, Kid Lane. We'll open the public hearing, and I'd like to explain that your people are welcome to come up and speak either for or against. This is just for you to, we'll listen to your public comments. It's not back and forth. We're not answering questions, but at this time, if anybody would like to come forward and speak, either for or against, would ask you to come forward to the podium, say your name, and give each a few minutes to speak.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. We'll come to talk a little bit to you now. I'm Jackie Eakes. Me and Lisa are sole owners of SJ&L Land Holdings. We're both lifetime, lived here, right here in the community. But we own, I think it's about 400 acres you're looking at de-annexing. We own about 25% of that. We bought 100 acres out there off Milano Road. We bought it for something for our future to grow with as an investment for us, an investment in our town. It's a good piece of property for an apartment complex or maybe a subdivision, a multi-home development. It's already got sewer, it's got water, it's got gas line running across it. And like I said, that's the reason we bought it. And, if you took us out of the city and we couldn't tie on to the utilities, it would be, I think there's 2 perk sites on the site. So we just have 2 big lots for a house, which is not a very good investment on our part. Didn't have any idea y'all was looking at taking it out of the city. We bought it because it was in the city, and that's like I said, the sewer line, we're completely, we surround a pump station that belongs to, I guess it's FPU, and there's about 1,900 foot of sewer line that runs across our property. It's not on the property line, it's just runs across our property. It goes over from Independence Drive over to Milano Road. And then there's about 900 foot of gas line that runs across our property also. It runs from probably the high school, comes across over to the apartment complex. We tie into, our property ties into Independence Drive, and it ties into the back of the apartment complex, Oakview, and we tie into Stovall's junkyard there. So, if you decide to annex the rest of the property, that I guess that's up to the landholders and up to y'all, but we'd sure like to stay in the city if we could. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else like to speak?
Good evening. I didn't plan on speaking, so I didn't write anything, but my name is Dr. Jay Colbert. I grew up in this town and lived here and worked here for the last 10 years. I own the property adjacent to Mr. Eakes. We do not have any sewer or utilities at this time. I am for the de-annexation of the property, and I believe that we are farther out from Mr. Eakes. So I believe that what I want won't interfere with what he wants. Honestly, in my opinion, I believe that it would be difficult to provide the utilities that would be necessary to be as legally. I don't know the law about it, but I think if you are going to be in the city, you should be provided some sort of utility services without a great undertaking of construction and furthering the utilities farther down Milano Road. I don't see how it's possible. It's just from my personal opinion, I believe that it'd be favorable to me to be out of the city limits and in the county, and I hope that y'all take it under consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else?
I'm Rocky Cooley. I joined Dr. Colbert there, and as far as the annexation, I'm fine with it unless y'all are planning on putting sewer and gas in the next few years, which I don't foresee that, but the annexation is fine, and I think the neighbors pretty much are agreeing, except for Mr. Eakes, which I think he should stay in.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else?
Kevin Fixter. We own some land on Kid Lane. And we are for
Excuse me,
the annexation.
I didn't get your name.
Feimster,
Okay. Thank you.
because of the utilities, I think the codes require a fire hydrant within 500 feet of a house. I'm sure the city's not willing to expend that money to run water lines not that far. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? All right, we'll close the public hearing. We will get into our agenda. I'll ask Alderman Bryant to say the opening prayer. We'll stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance and we'll get to our agenda.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for this time to come back and do the city's business. God, just pray you be with each one of us as we do the city's business. God, we just pray that you lead us in the right direction. Lord, we just thank you for all of your blessings. God, we thank you for your big blessings and small blessings. And God, we just thank you for a lot of things that we probably take for granted and we don't even realize. God, we just thank you for the country we live in. Thank you, Lord, for the freedom we have here in our country. Lord, we just thank you for our city employees. Lord, we thank you for every single department we've got from the top to the bottom. God, we just thank you for each one of them that works so hard. Thank you, Lord, for our public utilities, our public schools, everything connected with the city. God, we just thank you for it. Lord, we just pray as we go through this meeting, if you would be with us, you take care of us. If there's any blessings or prayer requests that might be present here unspoken, God, just pray you take those into consideration. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. You have the agenda in front of you. Does anybody have any corrections, deletions? If not, we'll let this agenda stand. First, we need to review the regular meeting minutes of January 11th, 2022. Does anybody have any corrections, deletions, additions? Not, that'll stand in public record. Next, special call meeting minutes, January 27th, 2022. Does anybody have any corrections, deletions, additions? We'll let that stand in public record. Last, special called meeting minutes, February 1st, 2022. Does anybody have any corrections, deletions, additions? We'll let that stand. We'll go to our reports. Welcome Sonny Nix, representing Fayetteville Main Street.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. I'm Sonny Nix. I'm the current president for Fayetteville Main Street. Our last event was in January. We had the Roaring 20s Ball. We sold out that event, and it was a huge success, a great night. Our upcoming events are going to be our first Friday. Our first one will be held April the 1st. It's from 5 to 7 p.m. It is on the square. The vendor forms are online, and it's a free event. Next is going to be our Slaw Burger event. That's April the 16th. More information about the event will be on our Fayetteville Main Street website. The Slaw Burger merchandise has been ordered, and we will be pre-selling t-shirts, and that will also be on our website. Last but not least is our director's position. Main Street's organizational committee met last night, and we have a plan for hiring a director that will be presented to the board at the next meeting to be voted on in order to move forward with the application, interviews, and hiring a director.
On the first Friday, will it be the same process as last year as far as the people signing up?
It will. They will sign up. There's an order that they have to go in, and I think they will be able to go on at 4:00 along the courthouse and get set up, and then the event will start at 5.
Because they were meeting over, weren't they lining up over in another parking lot?
Washington Street Church of Christ, yes, and they will still do that same thing this time.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions of Ms. Nix? Congratulations on the success of the ball.
Thank you.
And hopefully the success of hiring a new director.
Have a great night. Thanks.
Thank you. We'll go to the Fayetteville Lincoln County Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Carolyn Denton.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight on behalf of the Chamber. We are looking forward to the Slaughter Festival. It brings a lot of people into our downtown, and we've gotten several calls at the Chamber about vendor forums, so we're looking forward to the festival. We had a recent breakfast buzz. It was held a couple of weeks ago, and TCAT, Lincoln Central Academy campus, hosted it for us. And we had a lot of new businesses to come and network. And I think everybody had a good time with their 1-minute commercial and getting to know each other. Our Don't Be Fooled, which some of you are familiar with, our April Fool's senior scam event. For the last 2 years, we've not been able to have that and have an in-person seminar, but we have decided this year we'll have a drive-through event, and we'll put bags together for our seniors, because the information is just as important as it always has been with scams and identity theft, and trying to get the message out of how to handle people that come to your door wanting to work on your roof or do various things. So we are asking for any of our businesses that have senior-related information that they'd like to put in our packets to bring those to the chamber, or if you have discount coupons, anything like that that would be of interest to seniors. The way this will work, they'll go in the Amana Avenue gate. It will be at the fairgrounds, and they'll stay in their car. They'll never have to get out of their car. We'll give them the bags, and then if they'll put any documents that they want to have shredded on site in their trunk, they can just pop their trunk, and we'll get that out for them and shred that right there in front of them. So I think this will be another alternative way to have the event without trying to gather them into a room together. Music in the Park, the plans are coming along really well. That will be at Stonebridge Park the 2nd and 4th Thursdays, May through August. And we lack just a few in our lineup before we can announce that. So we're really looking forward to bringing people out and gathering at Stonebridge Park and enjoying the park and some good music. We've already ordered t-shirts, so we're looking forward to a really fun summer with music in the park. We're updating our community guide. That should be out in mid-spring. Hamburger Day on the Hill, those plans are underway for March the 30th. Tickets are available at the chamber. They're $20, and it includes the meal and round-trip transportation to the Capitol. We appreciate Pile Rock Farm providing 1,200 hamburgers for the event, and of course the Livestock Association will be grilling those in downtown Nashville. We also want to thank Frito-Lay, Sundrop, and Shoney's Catering for their contribution to the event. And of course, the city and the county for being such great partners in this. We're also looking forward to Local Government Day and being with you all again on Thursday here in the municipal building. I think we have some members of the class here tonight, so we're glad that they're here. So they can learn about how the city government works, and then in the afternoon we'll go to the courthouse and learn about the county government. We appreciate you all, the city, renewing the contract for the I-65 billboard that we partner on. I think that's a very effective way to bring folks into our city and off on exit 14. Our Student Advisory Board for February, we'll be having a nonprofit panel, and then we'll tour Clothe Our Kids, and we'll begin our penny drive. So if you see penny drives on behalf of the Chamber Student Advisory Board, that will benefit the Juniors House Blue Ribbon Walk, and that drive will go through March the 31st. On Sunday, Dr. Ferris Beasley will be awarded the Governor's Volunteer Star Awards, and we're really excited about that, very deserving. And it isn't too early to start thinking about Host a Christmas Past. The forms will be on the website soon, and those dates are November the 11th and 12th. So.
Anybody have any questions? I know it was 2 years ago that we were Hamburger Day on the Hill.
Yes.
And you mentioned about the Livestock Association. The legislators are fascinated with that whole process and love to come down there and hang out with them. And,
yes.
Jenny was a big hit from Powder Rock with some of it, as far as explaining to the legislators. And then that was on Wednesday, and then that Friday is when everything started shutting down for COVID.
Yeah, that Hamburger Day was the last normal thing we've done since then.
Correct. So we're excited to be able to go back, and I encourage anybody to go. It's a great experience. You get to see our local legislators. Sometimes you get to see the governor when he only pops in for a few minutes because of the schedule, but it's a great event. And what the people that really appreciate it are the workers and the pages and the people that work for the legislature.
Absolutely.
As much as anybody else.
Yeah, we go the week before and hand deliver each office their tickets, and they're always, if they have been one time to Hamburger Day, they remember it.
Mm-hmm.
And they get excited. Oh, I'm so glad that it's time for that. So we're glad to be able to be allowed to come back this year. It was kind of up in the air if they would, allow that many people to come in the building. So we're excited about it.
Good deal. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll go on our standing committee reports. We'll start with the fire department with Chief Kimbrough.
Good evening. The fire department for the month of January responded to 112 calls for service, 93 of them EMS, 1 fire, and 2 hazmats, and a few others. That's my report for the month.
Any questions, Mr. Kimbrough?
What is the aircraft standby?
It's when the helicopter's coming in to the fairgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go down and stand by if they're not able to land at the hospital. So that we just have to go down there and stand by because for lighting and stuff, because there's not that way they can see to land.
Okay.
All right.
We'll go to the police department, Mr. Casillas.
Good evening. For the month of January, we had 98 incidents, 54 arrests, 46 traffic violations, and 1,375 activity events. That's my report.
Anything, questions, Mr. Casillas? Thank you, sir. We'll go to finance department, Ms. Rozelle.
Good evening. Our local option sales tax for the month of January was $286,635.97. With 50% of the year reported, we're currently $215,000 over the year-to-date budget. And the only other thing I would like to remind everybody that February is the last month to pay your 2021 property taxes without penalties. If for some reason your 2020 property taxes have not been paid yet, those will be turned over to Clerk and Master for collection in March.
And 28th is the last day, correct?
The 28th is the last day, yes.
Okay, thank you so much. We go Recreation Department, Mr. Brian Carter.
Good evening. My first 3 items on my report will be dealing with our sealed bids. S.J. King electrical repair bid, that goes out to Rose Electric for $11,700. Pool house repair for roofing services, it'll be $43,638. And Don Davidson Park, the sealed drainage bid goes to Parker Construction for $26,800. Our gun range prices will change to daily passes for $10 in state, $20 out of state. Your yearly passes will be $60 for in-state and $120 for out of state. We will have numbers next month and quotes for a mowing contract for contracting out Count Blunt and a portion of the upper frontal portion of the soccer field. And we'll have quotes for the lights at the pool parking lot and We'll try to have some numbers for the 2022 fireworks celebration. And that is my report.
Any questions, Mr. Carter? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We go Public Works, Mr. Eddie Plunkett.
Thank you, Mayor. Month of January, we had 275 ton of trash and 107 ton of brush. North Main Drainage Project is in the engineering phase. It's 50% complete. Dunn Roman, it's in the engineering phase as we speak right now. Liberty Road Project is being put on hold for a little bit. And we're in the process of patching the potholes around town. If you have any questions about that, we'll get to them as soon as we can.
Any questions for Mr. Plunkett? Thanks, sir. We go Planning and Codes, Ms. Christy Gentry.
Thank you, Mayor. For building permits, 15 permits were issued in January. The total project valuation was $136,700. The total permit fees was $683. The detailed property maintenance log for January is on your iPads. We had 3 minor plats approved at the January Planning Commission meeting. These included the Greer subdivision minor plat, the Linda Williams subdivision minor plat, and the subdivision revision of lots 15 and 16 in Cresthaven Estates. Our next scheduled meeting for the sign ordinance revision is February the 22nd from 4 to 5, which is right before our regular scheduled Planning Commission meeting. For Board of Zoning Appeals, we had a BZA meeting on January 31st. At that meeting, a variance was approved on the front and side setbacks for a new single-family residential home located at 101 Riley Circle. Our next scheduled BZA meeting is Wednesday, March the 2nd, and that is for a variance on lot size at 610 Bellevue Avenue South. And that's my report.
Any questions?
Thank you.
We go to City Administrator's report.
I will be meeting with Hyde Engineering February 9th at 3 o'clock at Don Davidson Park. They're working to put together a bid spec for the electrical. I've also been working with CEO Britt Dye of Fayetteville Public Utilities and obtaining some pricing on the lighting for Don Davidson Park. So spent quite a bit of time on Don Davidson Park. That's my report.
While you're up there, I'd like to announce this board met recently, a couple weeks ago, and approved an offer letter to a candidate for the city administrator position. This afternoon, somewhere between 2 and 3, we received a signed acceptance of that letter. Mr. Kevin Owens has accepted a 6-month offer to come to be the city administrator for the city of Fayetteville. He has had extensive resume and credentials. Most significant was he was the chief administrative officer for the city of Birmingham and was the right-hand person to the mayor for 20 years and actually 4 different mayors in 4 different terms. And so the schedule for him is he had actually at this time had been brought back to help with the budget for the city of Birmingham, and he's working out details to finish off his requirements up by the end of February to be with us at the beginning of March with our meeting cycle and going forward. But we're excited to have him on board, and we did a lot of due diligence, and he did some due diligence on his part in studying, and so we're excited about this opportunity. Any questions, Mr. Howell? Thank you so much. We don't have any unfinished business. We'll go into new business. Item A, Dunn Roman Lane Drainage Issue Surveying and Design. We discussed this, I think, in Public Works, and then it came to Finance, and then it came to work session for the cost to do the design work of not to exceed $8,650. I have a motion and a second to accept this quote, please.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we accept a quote of $8,650.
Second.
Second.
Take it on Ms. Small. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
That item passed. Item B, S.J. King Park Electrical Repairs. This came through Parks and Rec this month, finance work session. We have a amount not to exceed $11,700 for those repairs. A motion, a second, please.
Make a motion to approve the $11,700.
Motion by Alderman Martinez, second by Mr. Alder. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
That item passed. Item C, replace roof at swimming pool complex. The roof has been there longer than most people know. Nobody knows how long it's been there. But it is in need of desperate repair. So we had a bid of $43,638 to replace the roof at the swimming pool complex. We discussed this in finance work session, Parks and Rec. I need a motion, a second, please.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second, Mr. Small. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Item passed. Item D, Don Davidson Park Water Basin Drain Pipe Replacement. This had been out to bid, but then the bid expired, went with a rebid, and we had a bid of $26,800 that we accepted and recommended out of finance to work session. I need a motion, a second on this item, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, Alderman Martinez. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
That item passed. Item E, 2021 Planning Commission Report. Annually, Ms. Gentry brings a report over the activity of the Planning Commission over 12 months, and a standard that we approve that for the Planning Commission records. I have a motion, a second, to approve this.
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Second.
Second, Alderman Small. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
That item passed. Item F, a Fayetteville City School pay request, Brodus invoice number 3. We have the next 3 items are the same thing. We've discussed, or I've discussed before, that these are just items that the school system pays on the Dome project. We need to approve it for their records and the TEMA.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve invoice number 3.
Second.
Second, Alderman Small. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
That item passed. Item G, Fayetteville City School pay request, Brodus invoice number 4. Same situation. Stand a motion, a second, please.
Mayor, I move we approve invoice number 4.
Second.
Second by Alderman Martinez. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
That item passed. Item H, Fayetteville City School pay request, JBHM invoice number 5. The motion, a second.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second, Mr. Alder. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
That item passed. Next, we have item I, ordinance number 2022-02, City of Fayetteville FY22 Amendment number 2. This is for $108,000, or what we approved last month's meeting. We discussed this in finance and work session. It's in motion, second to approve.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve orders number 2022-02.
Second.
Second, Alderman Small. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
That item passed. Item J, budget calendar for FY 2023. This is the budget calendar we'll go by as far as the dates that we will meet. They're all public meetings in regards to the budget process. I have a motion, a second to approve.
So we are sticking with the 21st on
This month.
Well, that's a good, that's a good point. I mean, the second one hasn't, somebody could make the motion to prove everything but number 2, because we still trying to find the correct date that we can meet for that.
I'd like to do that for the first, what would we say, 3 meeting dates approved, or the first 4 up to the 21st. I'll make that motion to approve.
I second.
Second, any discussion?
I have a question. So it's going like that one, just going like one day, right?
Correct.
So all of them but that one.
We'll notify the public.
All we have to do is do a public.
Notification.
Do we have to have another, we don't have to have another meeting, do we?
I don't think so. I don't think
We
so.
don't have to have another meeting to approve that date, do we? Okay, I just want to be sure.
Okay, any other discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Aye, and pass. Next item, item K, Don Davidson Park Musco Lighting estimate. I said estimate, that's not right. So trying to think the best way to do this. We have, Mr. Dye to report, but we need to go ahead and make a motion, a second, before we, have that discussion, or do we need to suspend the rules and have that discussion and come back?
Either way you want to do it.
Let's make a motion, suspend the rules and have a discussion and then come back. And that way, if the board wants to go forward, we can go that way. So I entertain a motion, a second to suspend the rules so we can have a discussion on the Musco lighting estimate.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
We have Britt Dye here to come and present. He's met with interim Chief Howell several times. They've met with Musco Lighting, and they have some, I think they have some numbers.
Thank you, Mayor. What I'd like to go over is just to let you know where we are at this point in time, but if you ever decide to move in this direction, I would advise you to move quick because prices increase every day. For example, we had a 3750 kVA transformer that was about $40,000 just a few months ago, and today it's $140,000. So that's how much material's going up. First off, if you want to do the TSSAA lighting on the baseball field and everything else is recreational lighting, you got a cost of $705,000. If you want to do the baseball field and the women's softball field at TSSAA lighting, you're talking about $744,000.
Now, wait, let me, don't get, you, that's just what it adds. It don't add that much to it. That's
It's
what the
just-
total is.
That's what the total for the lighting package is.
Okay,
That is correct.
700 and,
44,000.
okay.
If you TSSAA the baseball field and the women's field.
So explain that real quick for just the people that are watching, as far as that's extra requirements for the school system that will utilize the field for middle school and high school play and softball for the same reason.
That is correct. What it does is TSSA's got standards based on the size of the field. In the women's field that the adult women play on with the high school girls is a bigger field than what's normally lit. Like it's 285 feet. The normal fields are a little bit better than 200 foot. So we still just projected the lighting that would be given off on the ladies field at the size that it is. The recreational lighting would be fine to light that field. The speed of the ball that's on the baseball field of when you're pitching and that comes off the bats with a baseball, the speed is that much greater with the ball. So it is recommended that you do the TSSAA where you got the 50 lighting on the outfield and you got the 30. When I say 50-30, that's 50 of how that's looked at as far as lumen on the outside compared to the infield of the 30. So that's what are your differences. You know, with the additional lighting, it actually lights up the bottom of the ball is what it does. So you see the ball better.
Okay.
Now, the price that you've given us here, Brett, is labor and parts.
The cost that I'm giving you right now is just for the lighting only.
Okay.
Now, FPU plans to do their end kind of setting the poles and the casings and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then you'll find out with the rest when we do we got those guys we got to meet with tomorrow on the electrical part.
Okay.
That would be something entirely different from this part.
But this would be to purchase the lights and the poles.
That's correct. This is for 26 poles and 156 lights. These prices I'm giving you.
And the warranty on the poles by Muscat.
25 years. You get 25-year maintenance. So if you have a diode or anything like that, you know, because all your LEDs operate entirely different from what your mercury vapors or your metal halide and those kind of lights.
Would
But
they be metal poles?
Be steel poles, yes, sir. What you have now, you got 38 poles and 152 lights. But you would have more poles, but we got 2 poles out there laying on the ground that we took out for the soccer field, if you remember when we done that, so. But, and then plus that's 6 additional lights that you would have to add to the 152, so. But, the other price that I was gonna give you, if you do 50-30, which I told you the 744, if you do all recreational fields, including baseball field, it's $658,000. So I just wanted to give you all 3 numbers of how you want to look at it.
Are these split lights, any of those you were talking about? We're splitting them like one side, so.
Yes, you got lights that would be facing between the fields over on this field and this field. That is correct.
So the 744 number does a whole deal. Does it all?
That gets your one women's field and the baseball field. The 744 at 50-30 lights.
Others will be rec.
Everything else will be recreational lighting.
Okay.
Which is still really good.
And you said it was recommended for the baseball and women's field?
It is recommended primarily for the baseball field due to the fact of the speed of the ball.
Gotcha.
The women's field with the recreational lighting that is designed for that field would still work really, really good. It'd be better than what you got there now.
Okay.
Now, I'm sorry, somebody,
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, let me get this clear. So this 744 would light all fields?
No, ma'am.
Just
The 744 would get the adult softball field that the high school girls play on and the baseball field. And then everything else is recreational lighting.
So
Which you would
not
have-
in this
You'd have
box.
1, 2, you'd have 4 other fields at recreational lighting.
What does that mean, recreational lighting? What does that mean?
That's just what they call the lighting of lighting up the field to meet the requirements of getting enough light to play ball on.
Like church.
So are we going to do something with those fields too, or?
We can leave them red.
Okay. So we're, okay, I got
I
it.
think to the Alderman's question, it is the fee, the current fields that are down there would be lit under any of these scenarios. It's just that on the 744, 2 of them are gonna have a better priority lighting for playing competitive ball.
That is correct.
Whereas the others could just be either recreational leagues or adult recreational leagues, but yes, all the fields would be covered. And so then so this will just cover that. And the other thing they're gonna meet tomorrow is about actually the electrical to get it off the ground and have a permanent process to where we don't have to worry about the flooding and all the other.
That would be correct. So you're looking at the $744,000, right? Is that what you're looking at?
That's what I'm looking at. I don't know about everybody else.
Okay.
Because I remember something about a $1.4 million estimate on this before from TVA.
Well, no, it actually came from Musco Lighting at the
Did it
time,
really?
but it included the entire project. TVA will go out and do a design, but actually they had to get all their numbers from the lighting company.
Okay. Well, I know 744,000 sounds better than 1.4 million.
So, to get 2 fields of TSSAA, let's get the high school girls and high school boys playing on baseball and softball field and everything else will be at recreation.
Any other
Thank you to
questions?
y'all for what you're doing with the poles, setting those and everything. I know that's a lot of help to us too. So, thank you.
But these prices, we went through the Sourcewell contract because they do all the legwork. Because when you go through Sourcewell, that means you get the best bid, right? So that's where these numbers are coming from. We do a lot of business with Sourcewell. And the quicker you order, the quicker they'll be here, because right now it's 8 to 10 weeks, and next week it could be something entirely different, I don't know. But the last number we were told was between 8 and 10 weeks.
And so we could, the board could make a motion to order, have FPU order through Sourcewell, and then we can pay FPU.
Yes, sir, that'd be correct.
Okay. Any other questions of Mr. Don?
I have one other question. I know at one time Alderman Alder brought up doing a study of how many people actually use the park, because I mean, this is a lot of money that we're going to be putting into this park. Was anything ever done on that, Mayor, as far as the study of who uses and how many uses we have of the park?
Not by the, not by us. I don't know if anybody else ever did a study or if you know anything, but.
I didn't ask for a study, I just asked during the meeting how many folks did it. I mean, I didn't ask for a study to be done, it just.
One of the things I think we have the director of schools in the audience will state is there is no other place for the school system to play their sports in the city or anything else would be a situation that was discussed before about trying to take over, build some of the soccer complex. And then you're getting, more expensive than probably this right here to build a new field or build a new baseball field or softball field. But the park itself is very active throughout the year. And in the past has been very busy with rec ball leagues and stuff. And we have the Battle of the Border, which is key, and that's key to having a solution here. Is that in April that's
exactly right.
So, but anyway.
But even the rec fields, leave baseball, schools out of it, leave leagues out of it. A lot of people take their kids there all the time just to pitch the ball and play or practice. So it gets a lot of use in the
Any
summertime.
activity that we had was taken care of by COVID for 2 years for sure. So it's all blurred together.
Sure.
And too, we got a situation with old wood poles down there. I don't know if we're gonna blow down first or fall down first. So one of the two.
Right.
So we're gonna have to get those poles down either way.
They've been there a long time.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion, a second, go back into regular procedure.
Mayor moves to go back to the regular meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Vaughn.
Aye.
Mr. Alder.
Aye.
Ms. Hartman.
Aye.
Mr. Martinez.
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
All right, we're back under regular Robert's Rules of Order. We go to, we'll pick up with item K, Don Davidson Park Musco lighting estimate. I'll entertain a motion or a second for any board member that wants to present one of those options. And
Mayor, I move we go with a $744,000 option to be funded from the Affordable Care Act funds to reimburse FPU without those funds.
I second that motion.
discussion.
Now, I will say, the reason I put that on there, the motion on there, those funds is federal funds. Those funds are not local taxpayer funds. It's been cleared that we can use those funds for that reason. That's some of those funds that's come in from the federal government. It's been cleared we use those funds for that reason. So it's not hitting our fund balance. It's not costing our city taxpayers anything at all. It's federally funded. Is that right, Stacy? Okay. So we'll make that clear.
So once this is, and I've already seconded, once this is approved, you said 8 to 10 weeks to get them in? Once
8 to 10 weeks, that's what it was the other day now.
we do need to move on.
That was just a couple of, it's been, but it's recent. I mean, we've got these numbers, you got these numbers recent, so it's not like you got.
I got these numbers right here yesterday morning.
Okay. Sure. All right. Any other discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Alder.
Aye.
Ms. Hartman.
No.
Mr. Martinez.
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
Ms. Vaughn.
Aye.
All right, item passed. Item L, Resolution R 2022-03, advertising gym safe room project. This is a necessity of language for the advertisement of the gym safe room, project number PDMC PJ04 TN 2019-03. I just need a motion, a second to approve this.
Make the motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Alder. Discussion. Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Harmon?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Oliver?
And pass. Item N, call for second public hearing on the contraction of Milano Road, Kid Lane properties. Mr. Hill, you come up and kind of explain real quick what developed after we called for this public hearing we had tonight.
Mayor, I guess in the course of finalizing some work on tonight's activity on that subject, we discovered that one of the parcels had a portion of that parcel had been sold to another party, and that effectively created a new parcel number that had not been in the advertisement from the newspaper advertisement before, nor had we notified the new owner because we weren't aware of the new owner when the notices went out. So it's been my recommendation that we conduct a second public hearing so that we can provide notice to this new owner and run a newspaper ad with the parcel number that the tax office has assigned to that parcel. And I think Alderman Vice Mayor Bryant had made a good suggestion about maybe having a special called meeting just to speed that process up so we won't run the risk of 30 days and having even more property out there sell, create the same situation we're in now. So it's been my recommendation that we have this second public hearing.
Okay. I entertain a motion for second public hearing on February 21st at 5 p.m.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second discussion. Pam, call the roll.
Excuse me, I've got some discussion on that. Is, where Mr. Eats is here tonight and he's wishing his portion, since it is contiguous with the city, is there any way that we can look at leaving his in the city? And if the other, property owners want to be de-annexed, let them be de-annexed, but let him stay in?
Because that lot that was sold has nothing to do with Mr. East, correct?
But yes, you're correct. That can be considered so that when the board actually does take action, they could sit there and say, out of the list, this one in the motion would not be and the rest would.
And I would say, I had prepared this back in the ordinance tonight. That's before I was aware that Mr. East was opposing that. So I had proposed to have him in there, but I could prepare that out of the way for the next meeting, and we could just attempt to approve out of first.
Well, that way he would be happy and maybe the other landowners would be happy with their decision, how we go on that.
Just be aware, I think we need to be aware of this now. And I don't have a big problem with that myself, but I do know that when all of that property, several years ago, I don't know, 20 years ago, whatever it was, when all of that was annexed, I don't believe there was ever a plan of services for utilities on that property, which it should have been. Really should have been. I was with the gas company then, and I didn't do any kind of study. Nobody asked me for any kind of study or anything. So we just need to be aware now that if that stays in, if it stays in, it's no problem with me. I mean, if it does, if it ever develops, there will have to be a plan of services. There will be cost involved. I would highly recommend that I would recommend between now and when we meet for those property owners to have a discussion with federal public utilities just to kind of see where everybody is on this. Just be sure. That's what I would do. Because utilities is a big deal. It's what it really is. Of course, I do hear that all utilities is run across property. So just put that out there, kind of.
Okay. Any other discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Martinez?
What is it now? What do we voted? This is to put it off to the landlocked? Okay.
This is a vote for the second public hearing. And the intention is to have a special call meeting on the same date.
Okay.
And at that point, we would vote on. So the motion on the floor is to have a second public hearing on the February 21st at 5 p.m.
Before I vote, now before I cast vote, I did have a question because I think Ms. Hartman, she said something about, so we need to make another motion for Mr. X. Is that correct before we vote on this one?
No, it's basically Mr. Hill can prepare the ordinance either way. And then on the special call meeting, when the motion's made, it can be selected which ordinance.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
That passed. Item N, Resolution R 2022-04 Greenway Phase 2. We had Laura Lee Page, one of our consultants at the work session. We had Kevin McAllister from Barge Design that came and fully explained last week where we're at with Phase 2. We had asked the state on if we could move the money from Phase 3 reimbursable to Phase 2. The state has agreed to that in writing to us. Mr. Hill has drafted up a resolution 2022-04 that states everything we would need to do and to officially stating what we would need to ask the state. And if we make a commitment to going forward with Greenway Phase 2, we need to notify the state that we're committed to doing that. So I'd entertain a motion, a second on this item.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve Resolution R 2022-04.
Second.
Second, Alderman Hartman, discussion. Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
That item passed. Well, the rest of these are all permits. Item 0, Fayetteville First Friday permit. This would do as we've done the last couple of years. We would approve and give Main Street the ability to conduct First Friday for the months of April through September of 2022. Entertain a motion, a second.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the permit for First Friday, April through September.
Second. Mr. Alden. Is that right? Did you
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
That item passed. Item P, Riverside Christian Academy Spring Formal Event for permit for April 14th, 2022. A motion, a second, please.
Move to approve, Mayor.
Second.
Second, Mr. Martinez. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
That item passed. Item Q, Smallburger Chase 5K and 10K event permit for April 16th, 2022. A motion, a second.
Motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Alder.
Second.
Second, Ms. Small. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Item passed. Item R, Smallburger Festival event permit for April 16th, 2022. A motion, a second, please.
Motion to approve the Swamburger Festival for April the 16th.
Second, Mr. Alder. Discussion. Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
That item passed. Item S, Firecracker Chase permit for June 25th, 2022. A motion, a second.
Move to approve, Mayor.
Second.
Second, Ms. Martinez. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
That item passed. That completes items new business. We'll go to closing comments. Ms. Alderman Hartman.
Yes, I would just like to remind everybody that the Friends of the Library is sponsoring the gala This year, it's on February the 26th. You can go online and purchase your tickets. We're very excited for this gala this year because we will pay the note in full. Our Lincoln County Fayetteville Public Library will be paid in full. So we're very excited about that. Please come out. It's a great event.
Small.
I'd just like to thank everyone's interest coming in the public hearing tonight, and we appreciate your comments. If there's anyone here from Leadership Lincoln, welcome tonight. Hope you got a chance to see a little bit. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. O'Brien.
It's good to hear we have a city administrator coming on board. In the absence of the city administrator for the past few months, we've had some employees that stepped up, kept the city running good, put a lot of work into it, a lot of extra hours, and they've worked as a team. And we have a very good team here in administration, and we have a very good team citywide as employees. And we're not perfect, but they all work together good. Appreciate the work they've done. I really do believe that Mr. Owens will really be good for the city. I was very impressed with him when I spoke with him during the interview. I think he'll be good for the city. And it's good to have leadership here. And I'll probably be seeing somebody Thursday morning if y'all here. If I don't be here Thursday morning, so that's all I have there.
Mr. Alden.
Second, that, really good to hear. We got a new city administrator coming in. I think he'll be good as well. Just want to say thank you again to Mr. Dye and FPU for all your work on this lighting project. I know it's a lot y'all put into, so thank you for that. That's all I've got.
Mr. Martinez.
Yeah, I want whatever you repeat, whatever you said. I'm thankful that we got a new administrator. Thank you to the one that stepped up for everything, and all the ladies, what they do in the office, and guys. And FPU, thank you for what you're doing for this and helping us out with these ball fields and stuff. And I'd like to thank the public for coming out for the public hearing. I like to hear both sides, and it looks like there's a big support on both sides.
I'd just like to I think the chief stepped out. I'd like to thank him for all his hard work during these months that we were in search of a city administrator, because I know it hasn't been easy, and he has stepped up and done what the board is asking him to do. And we appreciate his hard work and the people that work with him to make his job a little easier, that much easier. But we appreciate all he's done.
Yeah. I have several things. One, I'd like to thank FPU and Mr. Dye for coming forward. Their team always helps out when we have issues like this. I'd like to mention, I'm excited. I've the last few weeks spent a lot of time talking to Mr. Owens, myself, and the chief, and I think when you get to meet him, you'll be pleased with him. Recently, you may have seen there was Facebook and in the paper, we lost our city high school football coach, Kenny Morrison, and not because of anything that he was upset with us at the city, but he grew up in the Florence area, and he had a chance to go home, and Florence High School hired him. And we wish him the best, and we congratulate Daniel Johnson, the defensive coordinator, to be promoted to head coach. The players are excited, and we know he'll do great things. I would like to commend the board, as well as Chief Howell during the last 6-7 months for being patient and diligence. It's not easy when you have to hire, and there's not a big pool of candidates sometimes to hire the position we did. But I want to commend everybody for the efforts we did and everybody stepping up in their role. So I encourage everybody to go to Hamburger Day on the Hill. If you've ever not done it, to do it at least once, and you'll be hooked. So thank everybody for their efforts, and thank all of our Chamber and Main Street for what they do for us each and every day. And we will adjourn this meeting, and we'll come back in March. Thank you.